Hello and welcome to Creating with Purpose. My name is Aidan Brookstone and I'll be your host. Creating with Purpose is a series of thought-provoking ideas that are each mindfully crafted to help you, the creator, bring more meaning, intention, and purpose to your daily practice of creativity. My personal philosophy is that we are all creative beings. From the way we style our hair to the way we conduct our own personal demeanors, everything we do is an act of creation that is unique to our being. So whether you consider yourself an artist, a plain old human, or anything in between, it doesn't really matter. The information I'll be presenting in each of these episodes is practical enough that, if put to proper use, will help you open the doors to a life that is much more fulfilling, exciting, and simply put, has you creating with purpose. Each episode will cover a topic, and I'll finish with something for you to reflect on based on our speaking point. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, welcome to episode 6 of Creating with Purpose. And in this episode, we're going to be talking about a little bit of the differences between finding purpose in our creative sense and finding purpose in things that are a little more practical. Now, it almost feels like in the creative world, unless you are making a full-time living and income in being a creative, then that's a bad thing. As though if you aren't just being creative, then you are a failure. Now, I want to challenge that notion in this episode. So, currently, I've just started working a job that is more physical labor-based. And there's something to be said about being in my late 20s and starting to use my body in a way that is meaningful for the world. Now, don't get me wrong. I love just sitting back and doing creating and helping people find meaning and doing these amazing things that I do with the studio. But that doesn't hit every single point of what I really want and what I really enjoy for myself. What I really want to be doing with my life. I love going out into the world, being physical, being active, getting more fit, and figuring out how I can ultimately be a man. Being a man is an act of protection, of providing. It's the masculine framework. It is the role that I play in regards to helping the world grow and build. The men in the world are the ones who are on the construction sites. The men in the world are the ones who are doing the hard work and doing the heavy labor, the hard lifting. And that's a great thing. Without the men in the world, we wouldn't have the skyscrapers that we do. We wouldn't have so many of the beautiful creations that have come about. Same with women, but right now we're just focusing on the masculine framework. The feminine offers the very creative essence, and that is a beautiful thing. But as a man, I don't just find value in the creative work that I do. I need to use my body. I need to be physically active. So this episode, what I'm really trying to do is challenge the notion that, for men at least, creativity is the way. That if you aren't, as an artist, just creating, then you're a failure. Who created that standard and why? There is more to life than just the creative aspects. There's also the practical aspects that we need to tackle and we need to take on. And there's a lot of value, meaning, and purpose that we can derive from doing physical work. Now, that doesn't mean that you should just do physical work, but it does mean that getting into your body, doing something physical, and really contributing a value that is practical can be a very beautiful thing and something that can provide you with a sense of meaning and purpose too. As men, we simply want to feel needed in the world. And when we don't feel needed, we feel isolated, alone, and like we don't matter, so why are we even here? That tends to be a very typical story for men who end up, unfortunately, ending their own lives. So how do we find meaning and value in the world? Well, there's the creative way of doing it, of coming up with something that is purposeful through your creativity, through your art, and making stuff that really resonates and that's meaningful and that helps people resolve their internal emotional complexities and come to terms with who they are. That is the power of art. And then at the same time, there's a sense of meaning through going out into the world and providing and protecting and taking care of your family and taking care of your other loved ones and just being a man in the actual practical sense of being a man. And we're not really hunting and gathering anymore. That's something that I guess we did in the past, but I haven't seen that really being done in the modern world. But finding a way to do that so that way we feel a value to the world at large. So my reflection for you in this episode is to ask yourself, where are you finding the value from? Where are you finding purpose from in regards to the creative element in your life, but also in the practical element of your life? And is one or both of these maybe missing in some senses? Or maybe you're giving too much time to one and not enough time to the other. And how can you balance it? Can you balance it? If that's something that you're struggling with, I'd love to help you out. My name's Zane. This is Studio Raphael. Here at Studio Raphael, we are an art house for creativity that serves to uplift humanity. I don't believe that creativity is just something that we do when it comes to the arts, but I believe it's something that we practically apply to our lives. We are looking for a way to express ourselves into the world, to create meaning, to be intentional, and to be purposeful in the work that we do and the lives we create. So if that's something that you could use help with, please shoot me a message. My goal is ultimately, in the overarching theme of Studio Raphael, to work closely with artists in a way that we get to make art together, and Studio Raphael gets to be a platform on which we get to share it, and people get to come here and see all the incredible, beautiful art that is being made by artists who are doing very intentional, purposeful, and meaningful work. That's what we're working towards. But right now, one step at a time, this is what we're doing, which is the podcast, I guess. And yeah, through commitment, dedication, everything else we've talked about in this podcast, we're slowly but surely going to get there. So episode 7, we'll see it when it comes. Right now, at least episodes 5, 6, 7 has just been free flow. I think that's going to stay the case. If I end up finding some sort of next segment I want to hop into, we will do that. But right now, this is where we're at. So thanks again for tuning in, and hopefully I'll see you around the studio sometime. Take care.